Discipline today, freedom tomorrow. A powerful Stoic story. Imagine a young man named Ethan. From the outside, his life looked normal. He had a place to live. He had food on his table. He had dreams in his heart. But deep inside, he felt like a prisoner. Every day he promised himself he would change. He would wake up early. He would work on his goals. He would exercise. He would read books. He would become the person he always dreamed of becoming. But every night he went to bed with the same disappointment. Nothing changed. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became years. The gap between who he was and who he wanted to become grew larger and larger. One rainy evening, Ethan sat alone in his room. His phone screen glowed in the darkness. Hours had disappeared. Again. He looked at the clock. Midnight. Another day wasted. A strange feeling hit him. Fear. Not fear of failure. Fear of staying the same. For the first time, he realized something terrifying. His life would not improve automatically. Time was moving forward whether he improved or not. The world would not wait for him. His dreams would not wait for him. His future would not wait for him. That night he could barely sleep. The next morning he walked through a nearby park. The air was cold. The sky was gray. As he walked, he noticed an old man sitting quietly on a bench. The man looked peaceful. Not because life was easy, but because he seemed completely in control of himself. Ethan sat nearby. For a while neither of them spoke. Then the old man said something unexpected. "You look troubled." Ethan laughed. "I am." The old man nodded. "What is it you want?" Ethan thought for a moment. "I want a better life." The old man smiled. "Then why aren't you building one?" The question shocked him. Ethan immediately started listing excuses. No opportunities. Bad luck. Lack of support. Lack of money. The old man listened carefully. Then he asked a simple question. "What have you done today to earn the life you want?" Ethan fell silent. The old man continued. "Most people want success." He paused. "Very few want discipline." Ethan looked confused. The old man pointed toward a tree. "Do you see that tree?" "Yes." "It took years to grow." Ethan nodded. The old man smiled. "Yet people expect their lives to change in a few days." Those words stayed with Ethan. Before leaving, the old man shared one final lesson. Discipline today. Freedom tomorrow. Ethan repeated the phrase in his mind all day. Discipline today. Freedom tomorrow. At first it sounded simple. But the more he thought about it, the deeper it became. The next morning his alarm rang at 5 o'clock. Immediately his mind began fighting him. Sleep more. Start tomorrow. One more hour won't matter. But then he remembered the old man's words. Discipline today. Freedom tomorrow. For the first time in years, he got out of bed immediately. No negotiation. No excuses. No delay. Just action. The room was cold. His body was tired. His mind resisted. But he got up anyway. It was a tiny victory. Nobody celebrated. Nobody even knew. But something important had happened. He had won a battle against himself. That morning he went for a run. The run was terrible. His legs hurt. His lungs burned. He wanted to quit. Several times he almost turned back. But he kept moving. One step. Then another. Then another. When he finally returned home, exhausted and sweating, something strange happened. He felt proud. Not because he had run far. Not because he had achieved something impressive. But because he had kept a promise to himself. For years he had broken promises to himself. Now he had kept one. That changed everything. The following weeks were difficult. Every day presented a choice. Comfort or growth. Excuses or action. Weakness or strength. Most people believe discipline becomes easier with time. Sometimes it does. But often it simply becomes a different battle. The battle never disappears. You simply become stronger. Ethan discovered this firsthand. Some mornings he felt motivated. Many mornings he did not. The key difference was that he stopped relying on motivation. He learned that motivation is unreliable. Discipline is dependable. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline remains. Months passed. The changes slowly became visible. His posture improved. His confidence grew. His body became stronger. His focus sharpened. Friends began noticing. People started asking questions. What changed? What's your secret? Ethan smiled. There was no secret. Only discipline. Only consistency. Only daily effort. But life was about to test him. One afternoon, Ethan received terrible news. The company where he worked was reducing staff. His position was gone. Years earlier, this would have destroyed him. He would have panicked. He would have blamed everyone. He would have fallen apart. But now he remembered another Stoic lesson. You cannot control external events. You can control your response. So instead of complaining, he went to work. Not at a job. On himself. Every day he studied. Every day he learned. Every day he improved his skills. While others spent their time worrying, Ethan spent his time preparing. Weeks later, an opportunity appeared. A better one. An opportunity he would never have been ready for in his old life. He got the position. Not because he was lucky. Because he was prepared. The Stoics understood something many people forget. Luck favors preparation. Opportunity favors discipline. Success favors consistency. Years continued to pass. Ethan's life transformed. But his greatest victory was not financial. It was internal. He no longer feared challenges. He no longer feared hard work. He no longer feared discomfort. He understood that discomfort was often the doorway to growth. One winter evening he returned to the same park. The old man was there again. Sitting on the same bench. Watching the world quietly. Ethan approached him with a smile. The old man looked up. I see you've changed. Ethan nodded. So have my circumstances. The old man smiled. That's not what I meant. Ethan looked curious. The old man continued. Your circumstances changed because you changed. For a moment neither spoke. Then the old man asked, What have you learned? Ethan thought carefully. Finally he answered, I learned that discipline is freedom. The old man's eyes brightened. Explain. Ethan smiled. When I followed every impulse, I thought I was free. He paused. But I wasn't. I was controlled by comfort. I was controlled by laziness. I was controlled by fear. The old man nodded. Ethan continued. Now I understand. Freedom is not doing whatever you feel like doing. Freedom is having control over yourself. The old man smiled proudly. For years Ethan had searched for answers. Now he understood. The answer had never been outside him. The answer had always been within him. Self-mastery. The foundation of Stoicism. The foundation of strength. The foundation of freedom. As the sun began setting, the old man stood up. Before leaving, he shared one final lesson. The strongest people are not those who conquer others. He paused. They are those who conquer themselves. Ethan never forgot those words. Years later he faced many more challenges. Business failures. Financial setbacks. Personal losses. Moments of doubt. Moments of fear. Moments of pain. But through every storm he remembered the lessons that transformed his life. Focus on what you can control. Accept what you cannot control. Do your duty. Master yourself. Stay disciplined. Keep moving forward. And slowly he became the kind of person he once admired. Not because life became easier. Because he became stronger. That is the power of discipline. That is the power of Stoicism. The world constantly tells people to seek comfort. The Stoics teach something different. Seek strength. The world says follow your feelings. The Stoics say follow your principles. The world says take the easy path. The Stoics say take the right path. One path feels good today and painful tomorrow. The other feels difficult today and rewarding tomorrow. The choice belongs to you. Every morning you wake up. Every decision you make. Every promise you keep. Every excuse you reject. You are shaping your future. You are becoming someone. The question is simple. Who are you becoming? The weak version of yourself? Or the strong version? The distracted version? Or the focused version? The fearful version? Or the courageous version? The answer is found in your daily actions. Not your intentions. Not your wishes. Not your dreams. Your actions. Because actions reveal character. Actions reveal discipline. Actions reveal who you truly are. So when the alarm rings tomorrow morning, remember Ethan. When life becomes difficult, remember Ethan. When excuses begin whispering in your ear, remember Ethan. And remember the lesson that changed his life forever. Discipline today. Freedom tomorrow. Master yourself today. Lead yourself tomorrow. Choose strength today. Build success tomorrow. Because the future you desire is built by the actions you take right now. And every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to becoming unstoppable. If you'd like, I can also write a much longer part 2, 3000 plus words, that continues Ethan's journey and turns this into a full YouTube Stoicism documentary style script. Discipline today, freedom tomorrow. Part 2, the storm that revealed his strength. For a while, life seemed to be moving in Ethan's favor. His habits were stronger. His confidence was growing. His finances were improving. His body was healthier than ever. People around him admired his discipline. Many believed he had finally escaped struggle. But life has a way of testing every lesson we claim to have learned. One morning, Ethan received a phone call that changed everything. A family member he loved deeply had become seriously ill. The news hit him like a hammer. Fear rushed through his mind. Questions filled his thoughts. What if things got worse? What if recovery never came? What if life changed forever? For the first time in years, Ethan felt the old emotions returning. Anxiety. Helplessness. Doubt. As he sat alone that night, he remembered a lesson from the Stoics. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The situation was difficult. But his fear was multiplying the pain. So he made a decision. He would focus only on what he could control. He could not control the illness. He could not control the outcome. But he could control his actions. He could be present. He could support his family. He could remain strong when others needed strength. Day after day, he practiced this mindset. Some days were easier than others. Some nights he barely slept. Some mornings he felt exhausted. Yet he continued his routines. He continued exercising. He continued reading. He continued keeping promises to himself. Not because he felt motivated. Because discipline had become part of who he was. Then another challenge arrived. The company he had joined after losing his previous job faced serious financial trouble. Rumors spread through the office. Employees whispered in hallways. Everyone feared the worst. Many spent their days complaining. Others wasted energy worrying about possibilities that had not happened. Ethan felt the same uncertainty. But he remembered something the old man once said. When panic enters the room, wisdom leaves. So while others worried, Ethan prepared. He updated his skills. He improved his resume. He expanded his knowledge. He prepared for every possibility. Weeks later, the company announced major layoffs. Many people were shocked. Ethan was not. He had already prepared himself mentally. He understood one of the most powerful Stoic truths. You cannot control events. You can control your readiness. That lesson gave him peace. Not because life became predictable. Because he became adaptable. Months later, another opportunity appeared. This time it was even greater than before. But something unexpected happened. Fear returned. Not fear of failure. Fear of success. The opportunity required leadership, responsibility, visibility. The old version of Ethan would have declined. He would have convinced himself he was not ready. He would have hidden behind excuses. But now he recognized fear for what it was. A test. A doorway. A challenge demanding courage. He remembered that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear. So he accepted the opportunity. The first few months were difficult. He made mistakes. He faced criticism. Some people doubted him. Others questioned his decisions. At times he wondered whether he had made the right choice. Then one evening he returned to the park. The old man was there again, sitting quietly beneath the trees. Ethan sat beside him. For several moments neither spoke. Finally Ethan broke the silence. "I thought discipline would eliminate problems." The old man laughed softly. "No. It prepares you for them." Ethan looked down. The old man continued. "Many people believe strength means avoiding storms." He pointed toward the dark clouds gathering overhead. "Real strength means standing firm when storms arrive." Those words stayed with Ethan. As the months passed, he continued growing. Not because life became easier. Because he became wiser. He learned that every setback contained a lesson. Every challenge contained an opportunity. Every obstacle contained hidden growth. Then came the greatest test of all. A major project that could transform his career. Months of preparation went into it. Countless hours of effort. Endless sacrifices. Everything seemed perfect. Until it failed. Completely. The project collapsed. Resources were lost. Plans fell apart. Years earlier, this failure would have destroyed him. But this time something was different. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" he asked, "What can this teach me?" That single question changed everything. He studied his mistakes. He analyzed every decision. He looked for lessons instead of excuses. Most people allow failure to define them. Ethan allowed failure to educate him. Months later he launched a new project. This one succeeded beyond expectations. People called him resilient. People called him talented. People called him fortunate. But they did not see the countless hours of discipline behind every success. They only saw the results. The Stoics understood this reality. The world celebrates outcomes. Wisdom focuses on process. One evening, while walking home, Ethan reflected on how much his life had changed. Not just externally. Internally. Years ago he had been controlled by emotions. Now he was guided by principles. Years ago he feared discomfort. Now he embraced it. Years ago he sought shortcuts. Now he trusted consistency. The transformation had not happened overnight. It happened one choice at a time. One disciplined action at a time. One difficult day at a time. One victory over himself at a time. As the years continued, Ethan became a mentor to younger people. Many asked him for advice. They expected complicated answers. Instead, he gave them simple truths. Keep your promises. Control your reactions. Focus on what you can control. Accept what you cannot. Be patient. Be disciplined. Stay consistent. Most people were disappointed by how simple the answers sounded. But simplicity is often where wisdom lives. One young man once asked him, "What is the secret to becoming strong?" Ethan smiled. "There is no secret." The young man looked confused. Ethan continued, "Strength is built every time you choose what is right over what is easy." Years later, Ethan returned once more to the park. The bench was empty. The old man was gone. Perhaps he had moved. Perhaps life had taken him elsewhere. Ethan never saw him again. But the lessons remained. The old man had given him something more valuable than money. More valuable than success. More valuable than recognition. He had given him a philosophy for life. A way to face hardship. A way to face uncertainty. A way to face himself. As Ethan looked at the empty bench, he smiled. The greatest battles had never been against other people. They had been within. The battle against laziness. The battle against fear. The battle against excuses. The battle against comfort. And every victory in those battles had brought him closer to freedom. That is the hidden truth of Stoicism. Freedom is not found in possessions. Freedom is not found in status. Freedom is not found in praise. Freedom is found in self-mastery. The person who controls himself cannot be easily defeated. The person who masters his mind cannot be easily broken. The person who remains disciplined cannot be easily stopped. And so Ethan continued forward. Not perfect. Not fearless. Not immune to struggle. But stronger. Wiser. Calmer. More disciplined. Because he had learned the lesson that changes lives. The quality of your future depends on the discipline of your present. Discipline today. Freedom tomorrow. And every day thereafter, he lived by those words. This part 2 naturally leads into part 3, the final test, where Ethan faces betrayal, loss, success, and ultimately becomes a Stoic leader who teaches others the path to self-mastery.